What's good, YouTube? Welcome to the Ballers Club. It's your boy BallOrFallBird, the one and only Mr. BallOrFall, the one and only Mr. Do It All, the one and only Mr. Everything Under the Sun will get done because your boy is best beyond. Listen, man, I wanted to make today's video and just talk about the fact that I know a lot of times we may feel that since we're not at our goal yet, we're not at our our end goal, we're not achieving the thing that we want to achieve as a result of all of our hard work. I know a lot of times we may feel sometimes discouraged about that. I know a lot of times we may feel like, damn, like, is this goal ever gonna come? I know a lot of times we may feel like, man, like, all my work that I'm putting in right now, it could all, just end up being for nothing. It can all just end up, not really amounting to anything, significant in my life. And I wanted to make today's video and today's topic about learning to accept, learning to cherish, learning to stack the small wins that we have. And I really wanted to make this video. It's really been on my mind kind of heavy over this past week that, we have a lot of things in our life that we want to achieve, especially, like I said, if you're a part of this BallOrFall family. Y'all know I'm always harp on the fact that if you're a part of this family, the number one thing that we're trying to do is achieve our purpose in life. The number one thing that we're trying to do is achieve, our goals for ourselves, so on and so forth. But it just makes me think about the fact that, man, like, oftentimes, and I'm speaking from experience, I haven't reached my goal yet. I haven't got to my end goal result. I'm not really feeling like, harvesting the fruits of my labor right now. And it just makes me think sometimes like, damn, like, is this ever gonna come? Is this ever gonna, really amount to anything, like I said previously? And it makes me think that I've had a lot of small wins though. And I wanted to make sure that I harped on this. I wanted to make sure that I really spoke on this today because a lot of times when we're chasing our goal, a lot of times when we're chasing these big achievements, when we're chasing our, our purpose in life, when we're chasing these big aspirations that we have for ourselves, a lot of times we can become so focused on that and the fact that we don't have that we forget about all of the wins that we're taking right now. We forget about all of the things that are going great for us right now. We forget about all the things that we're doing on a daily, on a weekly, on a monthly, or a yearly basis, just depending on what your end goal is, that is going so good for us and that we've been able to actually achieve. And it's something that sits with me kind of heavy because I'm an athlete. So being an athlete, and I feel like, part of my mental, definitely, a lot of my mental comes from the fact that I'm an athlete. And what I mean by that is, I played football for 20 years of my life. And, obviously it's three things, it's winning the game, it's winning, maybe your conference, and then winning the overall championship. So a lot of times, on a week to week basis, obviously the end goal is winning the game. And if you didn't win the game, you feel like you didn't win, you didn't win pretty much the main goal at hand. If you didn't win conference at the end of the season, you feel like you didn't really do anything, even though you made it to conference, and then obviously if you didn't win the championship, let alone if you got to the championship, you felt like your season wasn't really for anything, it really wasn't worth anything. And I want to speak on this because, like I said, it sits with me because if I didn't have an interception in the game, if I didn't have 12 to 15 tackles, if I didn't force a fumble, when I ran track, if I didn't win the race, if I didn't, become first place from that race, whatever the case may be, it makes me think about the fact that I was so focused on not winning. And it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it can become a bad thing. Like I said, too much of anything is not good for you. And it makes me think about the fact that, like, even on the games that we did win, if we did win the conference championship, if we did win the overall championship, if we did win the bowl game, whatever the case may be, if we want to practice, whatever the case may be, that win came from a series of small wins that a lot of times we don't really take into effect. That win came from my team having more small wins than the other team had small wins. And a lot of times, like I said, we won't take that into fact. We won't look at that for what it really is. We won't look at that and say, damn, like, for me to have actually won this game, I had to win first down back in the first quarter. I had to win third down back in the second quarter. I had to block a field goal. I had, like, whatever the case may be. And I know I'm speaking about sports, but let's, if you're not familiar with sports, let's take it into the account of a test. If you're taking a test, obviously you want to get an A on the test. You want to get a high grade on the test. But that test is a series of stacking small wins. Each question that you get right, that is a small win. You can't win the test if you don't get individual wins within the test. And like I said, a lot of times we'll become so focused on the fact that we haven't achieved our goal. We'll become so focused on the fact that, our goal is still so far-fetched. Like, like we still got a long way to go, that we don't realize the importance of continuing to stack the small wins. We don't realize the importance of continuing to look for the small wins, looking for the small details. The details matter. The little things matter, whether that's in a relationship, whether that's in school, whether that's in sports, whether that's in life, period. The little things matter because the little things become something big. You can't put, if you fill a water bottle up with sand, each one of those small grains of sand is what made you able to fill up that whole bottle of water or that whole water bottle. And I know that may be a crazy example, but I just think about it because however many grains of sand it was that went into that bottle, it eventually made the bottle fill up. And that's the same way that our life is. That's the same thing that we have to really understand within our life. We have to be able to really realize that, man, like, I got to stack the small wins on the day-to-day basis. I have to win today. That way, if I win today, if I win every single day this year, or if I win every single day over the course of the next 90 days, that's going to be a big win. I don't really lose because I'm winning every single day. I'm winning every single small aspect of my life. And like I said, it really makes me think about the fact, like, man, like, we really have to start taking into account for the small wins. We really have to start looking for the small wins that we can take. We really have to start looking for the small details that will really make a difference within the bigger picture. And like I said, I just say these things because for me, I know that we can so often get so focused on the long-term goal. We can so often get focused on the goal that hasn't been achieved yet, because that's our end goal. I want this car, but I have to work every single day and earn X amount of money. Every day that I earn X amount of money, that's a win for me. And then those wins stack up. Those wins build momentum. We have to build momentum. If we could just win big one time, it's almost like hitting the lottery. But then you think about, like I said, with the lucky people, the lucky people in the world, yes, you can say that they won the lottery, they won big at once, but let's think about all of the small wins. And even if they did lose by not getting selected for the lottery, that small win was just continuing to, put my name in the hat, continuing to get this lottery ticket. Whatever the case may be, everything in life, has its wins and its losses. And I just want to, like I said, make sure that I harp on the fact that we have to start taking account for the small wins that we have in our life, and not only taking account for them, but also cherishing these small wins, because these small wins are what really, molds everything together. It's what really pulls everything together. And like I said, we have to get a relationship with these small wins. We got to, pat ourselves on the back sometimes. Like I said, like, I know for me, man, like, I'm so OCD at certain times. I'm so locked into the fact, like, damn, like, I haven't achieved my big goal yet, or today wasn't a home run. I got to start my whole 75 hard over. I got to start my whole, not 75 hard is different, but I'm just saying, like, if today wasn't a home run for me, I feel like, damn, like, nope, we got to go back to day one. So let's just say if I want to make $500 for the next 10 days, if I only made $450 today, I feel like, damn, I got to start this over. I got to start the challenge over. Whatever the case may be. So I just say these things to, like I said, harp on the fact that we got to learn to accept and take the small wins. We got to learn to cherish these small wins, because these small wins add up. These small wins are so important. So I really just wanted to, like I said, make this video and leave y'all with that for today, because, man, like I said, these small wins are important. These small wins are what adds up to the big wins. Like I said, if you're taking a test, if you're an athlete, your small wins within it, it's the game within the game. And it's something that my defensive coordinator, Coach Sloan, used to say a lot to us, and I never really, I felt like I understood it back then. Yes, you gotta do good on third down. You gotta understand what third down is. You gotta understand what second down is. You gotta understand what the offense is trying to do on this play. Or if you play defense, or if you play offense, you gotta understand what the defense is trying to do on this play. You gotta win every single play. or not every single play, but you know, winning that drive, scoring a touchdown on that drive is winning specific plays within that drive. So I just say these things to say, like, man, like, the small wins are important. And if we neglect how big the small wins are, if we neglect how heavy these small wins can weigh sometimes, you know, it can distract us from what we really want, and you know, make us feel like we're not really getting close to what we want. So like I said, man, I just say this, and you know, want to give this video for y'all to go into the week and say, accept the small wins, look for the small wins, and cherish the small wins, man, because they really do add up in the end. If you got a goal that you're trying to hit over the next 90 days, if you got a goal that you're trying to hit before the start of Q3, understand that, man, we still got over 60 or 70 something days until Q3. I think 60 something days until Q3. So I mean, like, understand and learn to take and accept the small wins for what they are, man. So like I said, I just say all that to, you know, hopefully prepare y'all into the week, hopefully prepare y'all into, you know, y'all's goal. You know, like, y'all goal is, you know, most definitely in reach. Our goal is most definitely in reach. We're going to be able to achieve our goal, but it's going to come, you know, with getting these small wins each and every day, getting these small wins throughout specific moments of the day, man. So like I said, I appreciate y'all for coming to the Ballers Club, man. It's your boy BallOrFallBird, the one and only Mr. BallOrFall, the one and only Mr. Do It All, the one and only Mr. Everything Under the Sun Will Get Done, because your boy is best beyond, man. And I'll see you in the next video.